So I'm minding my own business, scrolling through my phone, just killing time. And what do I see? Yahoo drops a bomb. They released a brand new fantasy basketball format. It's absolutely shaking up the fantasy basketball community. And in this episode, we're going to do a deep dive of what's happening, explain to you their new format, and how you can leverage it to win some fantasy basketball championships. I'll start by saying this. I am super excited about Yahoo Fantasy Basketball's brand new format, High Score. It's everything I want in fantasy basketball. It's a points league, it's easy, and also it serves as a gateway for brand new fantasy managers to find a platform that's not overwhelming, to find a format that works for their time and their schedule, and also can easily help them transition over from Yahoo football over to Yahoo basketball. If you guys know anything about this channel, we have always been all about welcoming new community members to fantasy basketball and having an open door policy and a welcome to everyone type of mentality. However, in fantasy basketball, in my time in this space, I've noticed that some folks who play other types of formats are very pretentious when it comes to points leagues, sleepers lock-in mode. To have a brand like Yahoo lean in to a more simple and easy way to play the game that we love is just heartwarming. So let's jump right into it. Before we do that, I got to shout out my man Dan TITUS, who works over at Yahoo. I sent him a text today. I was like, Dan, what the heck, bro? Like how you just gonna shake up the world in the middle of the afternoon? And he responded back, LOL. And we look forward to having him on the show to talk more about High Score. So let's go to the screen share and dig into all of this. So first, before we start unpacking any of these articles, as you can see, Yahoo is on a freaking tear when it comes to just securing the High Score SEO here. When you pull up Yahoo, when you pull up Google here and you search Yahoo High Score, it's the only thing that pops up pretty much. So we got just a whole variety of different types of articles that they launch. It looks like all at the same time. At the time of recording this episode, the announcement was made 10 hours ago. So that's probably about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's about 10 p.m. at the time of recording this. So the first article is High Score 101. So that's like the basics. Then we have Fantasy Basketball High Score Rankings, front court tier. So they already broke, Dan, I believe Dan probably wrote all of these joints. They already broke down the tiers, right, for the front court. Then the next article here, we got Fantasy Basketball High Score Rankings 150 for Yahoo's new hoops format. So the full 150 rankings. Then the next article is draft strategy, Yahoo Fantasy Basketball draft strategy, not for category leagues, not for roto leagues, not for points leagues, but for High Score. So they are crushing it. How many is that? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 brand new articles. Now check this out. NBA drops an article 7 hours ago. So Yahoo drops their article, and then 3 hours later, NBA is like, you know what? This needs to be addressed. We're going to post this on our site. So I want to dig into this a little bit. There are over 2 billion NBA fans across the world, right? So for the NBA to actually say, hey, we're going to pay attention to fantasy a little bit is a huge signal that we want to pay attention to, right? So we know that the NBA does not prioritize fantasy the way the NFL does. The NFL have pretty much created a subculture under general NFL fandom, right? So like you have like NFL fans, but then you have a whole subdivision of these fans who are fantasy football players, right? As you can see when you're watching ESPN, it's like, hey, you see the scores pop up from the game, but then you'll also see what? The fantasy scores. Listen to me now and listen clearly. This will eventually happen for fantasy basketball. It might take a few years, right? And it's something that I've been on a hilltop about ever since I came into the space. I don't want us to just remain this super niche community. Like we all know each other. We're all around. I want us to expand. I want us to grow. And the way to do it is to get people into the game. That's why we've been so adamant about pushing points league content here on this channel, because we know that points leagues are the gateway into fantasy basketball. So after that NBA article, it looks like Yahoo got another one. Look, Yahoo got another one. Look, Dan TITUS shares. Goodness gracious. Yahoo got another one. It was an absolute assault on the internet. Like, the SEO gangster is otherworldly. Let's count them off. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles that I found that all dropped at the same time and all broke down Yahoo fantasy basketball high score. So let's go ahead and get into one of them so we can give you guys some practical tips to understand what's happening. So this looks like a little video they came up with, which is really cool. A little welcome video, easier to play. Like, they're promoting easy here. Less grind, more fun. Draft your 10 favorite stars. Start your 6 best players weekly. Get their points. Single highest scoring game each week. Now, if you guys go head to head, right? So if you guys know about the sleeper format, right? That's probably pretty familiar to you. But the difference here, right? With the sleeper lock-in mode, you have to guess which game to pick. So let's say you start on a Monday and you have a player who's playing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, for example. Let's say it's LeBron James. So he has a Monday game, and let's say he does 35 fantasy points. You have to decide if you want to lock in that score. Let's say you roll your dice and you say, I think LeBron could do more than 35. Wednesday comes along and he does 25. You're like, dang. Now I know I can't go back and take the 35. I don't want to take the 25 because I had a 35 earlier on. Let me see what he does on Friday. And then let's say LeBron does 5 points. Now you're out, right? You got only 5 points. You could have took 35. So that's one of the issues that some folks have with lock-in mode. Me personally, I'm fine with it. It's the game. Like, if you play in a sport or any kind of game, they got rules and it is what it is. But for high score, I think they kind of addressed that issue and gave people an opportunity to not have that guessing game. It's more like fantasy football where you can kind of set and forget. So let's break down some of the high-level stuff that Dan is talking about in this article, and we'll drop some of these articles down in the description of this episode. Again, this one is called High Score 101. Yahoo's new default fantasy basketball format has arrived. Here's everything you need to know. So Dan talks a little bit about the history of the game. For years, Yahoo Fantasy Basketball has been the best platform for fans to play the game. But there's a new way to play the game. So I want to get into some of the get down. So let's talk about the roster. So it's a points. How does high score differ from other formats? So points, non-category, and roto leagues require managers to fill at least 13 spots and juggle deep benches. High score trims that roster to 10 players. I like that. With 6 weekly starts, creating teams packed with stars while still leaving room to select your favorite sleepers and emerging talent. I'll take it. And here's a quick look at the roster. We got 2 guards, 3 front court members. I love that they call them front court. So it looks like you can combine your power forwards as well as your centers all in one. No center limits. I love that. Then you have a flex utility spot, and then it looks like you got 4 bench spots. And let's talk about the scoring. So we got clean, simplified scoring. We got 1 point for points, 1 for rebounds, 2 for assists, 3 for blocks, and 3 for steals. And notice here, there is no negative impact for turnovers. So they've eliminated turnovers, which I think is pretty cool for this equation. So it says you can save time while earning the highest score. How do I earn points in high score? There's no need to worry about having to pick which game might net the best performance. See, that's a direct shot at sleeper, y'all. Like, lock-in mode. Like, it's clearly like, hey, you got to pick one. We'll take care of it for you. Each of the 6 players entered into your starting lineup will automatically be credited with the single highest score in a given week. Doesn't get much easier than that. You daggone Skippy Chippy. Next up, we got the risk reward factor when we swap players in your high score lineup. So you can decide to have a more hands-on approach and move players in and out of your starting lineup throughout the week. That's cool. But here's the key. When you bench a player, any points they scored before being benched won't count towards your weekly total. That's fair. Once you put them back in, only the points they score after rejoining your lineup will count. For example, if Steph Curry has 35 fantasy points on Monday while starting, then you bench him and later put him back in, only the points he scores after being reinserted will count. It's all about timing your lineup decisions to maximize those big performances. And here's a look here at some of the screenshots they have. Okay, cool. Here we go. Now let's talk strategies. What are some draft and in-season strategies? It's Dan is saying you should target guards and passing bigs in this format because they'll have an advantage, assist are more valuable. Also, you want to prioritize ceiling over floor. Since high score is about taking the best score for 6 players each week, look for the high variance, streaky scores over the consistent, reliable scores. That is an interesting play. And here we go. This is what I'm all about right now. I love this. I love this subtitle here. This is an evolution, not a replacement. High score respects the heritage of fantasy basketball while opening doors for new fans. That's what we're about. Die-hard daily players can continue with classic offerings while those seeking a lighter, more approachable challenge can chase the high score. And heck, why not just play them all? Why not just play them all? I love that quote. So there you have it, a quick and dirty breakdown of what's happening with the high score fantasy basketball format that Yahoo rolled out. Let me know in the comments. Are you guys going to play high score? And if you're interested in playing in a high score league with me, just let me know in the comments and I'll send you a link to our community. Don't forget, play the waivers, set your lineups, and believe in fantasy.